yet you never reach for your coat. The record spun another slow one, and neither of us voted no. The city glowed beyond the curtains, like a world we didn't need. There was nowhere worth arriving compared to where this might lead. Half a kiss, that's how it starts. Not with fireworks, but with restless hearts. Half a kiss, a dangerous thing, just enough to wake everything. You sat beside me on the sofa, close enough to change the air. Every sentence lost its ending the moment that you settled there. The room grew smaller by the minute, the silence softer than before, and every inch that disappeared only made me want you more. Half a kiss, that's how it starts. Not with fireworks, but with restless hearts. Half a kiss, a dangerous thing, just enough to wake everything. No grand confession, no dramatic line, just your eyes meeting mine at exactly the time. Or maybe the right one who can really say some roads are chosen before they're underway. Half a kiss, then another one, the kind that makes the moonlight feel brighter than the sun. Half a kiss, that's all it took to turn an ordinary night into something I'll never overlook. You love a man with a reputation, a little damage, a little fame, the kind who walks into a party already winning at the game. You hear the warnings, hear the rumors, you smile and let them pass on by, like every red flag ever raised was just another reason to try. Beautiful loser, you never learn, you touch the flame, then act surprised it burns. Beautiful loser, queen of second chances, falling for the same mistake in different pairs of pantses. Last winter it was a musician, before that it was a movie star, before that some smooth-talking lawyer who swore he wouldn't go too far. You keep collecting clever heartbreaks days like souvenirs from foreign lands, then wonder why the ending always slips right through your hands. Beautiful loser, you never learn, you touch the flame, then act surprised it burns. Beautiful loser, queen of second chances, falling for the same mistake in different pairs of pantses. Maybe you're not chasing love, maybe that's not even true. Maybe you just like the story of what people do to you. Maybe every warning label looks romantic from afar. Maybe you've mistaken wreckage for a shooting star. Beautiful loser, still dressed to win, walking into trouble with that fearless grin. Beautiful loser, one day you'll discover the right man rarely arrives looking like another. The phone rang once at 2 a.m., then stopped before I reached the light. No message left, no second try, just a ghost passing through the night. I told myself it wasn't you. That's what a reasonable man would do. But reason's never been much help when every road still leads to you. The last call was yours. At least that's what I choose to believe. The last call was yours, and some lies are easier to keep. Maybe you were lonely, maybe you were drunk, maybe you just hit the wrong number and hung up. I spent the morning by the window, watching strangers start their day. 1,000 lives moving forward, while mine stayed parked in yesterday. The coffee cooled, the hours wandered, the city carried on somehow. But one unanswered ring kept echoing louder than the traffic now. The last call was yours. At least that's what I choose to believe. The last call was yours, and some lies are easier to keep. Maybe you were lonely, maybe you were drunk, maybe you just hit the wrong number and hung up. It's funny what the heart invents to keep a door unlocked. A single sound becomes a story, a second becomes a clock, and every possibility starts dressing like the truth when there's nothing left to hold except the thought of you. The last call was yours, or maybe it was no one at all. The last call was yours. That's the version I recall. Because a man can lose a woman, a house, a dream, his pride, but letting go of hope completely takes a longer kind of goodbye. Every night around 11, I hear footsteps on the floor from the apartment right above me, crossing from door to door. I don't know his name or story, if he's married, rich or broke, but lately he's become familiar, like an unfinished joke. The man upstairs walks the same way I do, back and forth with nothing to lose. The man upstairs never seems to sleep, and somehow that company feels good to keep. At 3:15, he's still moving, same rhythm, same wooden sound, like he's trying to outrun something that keeps following him around. Maybe it's a woman who left him, maybe it's a dream gone wrong, maybe he's just another stranger trying to survive till dawn. The man upstairs walks the same way I do, back and forth with nothing to lose. The man upstairs never seems to sleep, to keep. We've never shared a conversation, never shaken hands, but loneliness creates acquaintances nobody plans. Two separate lives, two separate rooms, connected by the language of insomnia and moonlight. Final man upstairs stopped walking yesterday. The silence hit so hard, I didn't know what to say. Funny how a stranger can become part of your night. Now the ceiling's finally quiet, and it doesn't feel right. You left a mark upon the crystal, a shade of red I can't forget. The band was halfway through a ballad, and neither one of us had left. You crossed your legs and stole the room without demanding any eyes. The dangerous ones never ask, they simply magnetize. Lipstick on the glass, your signature tonight. Lipstick on the glass, still catching every light. The band keeps playing, the clock moves fast, but I'm still staring at lipstick on the glass. You spoke about a trip to Havana like it happened in a dream. Every story sounded better than reality had been. I couldn't tell what was invented, and honestly I didn't care. Some people tell the truth for facts, you told it for the atmosphere. Lipstick on the glass, your signature tonight. Lipstick on the glass, still catching every light. The band keeps playing, the clock moves fast, but I'm still staring at lipstick on the glass. The finest moments rarely happen the way they're shown on screen. They're smaller, softer, harder to explain, and far more dangerous than they seem. A glance that lingers, a hand too near, a detail that survives long after you're not here. Lipstick on the glass, the room is nearly gone. Lipstick on the glass, yet somehow lingers on. Tomorrow may erase the spell on the glass. The television talks to itself in a room nobody's watching. A half-burned cigarette in the ashtray keeps glowing without a reason. The city outside my window looks like a photograph underwater. Blurred lights, empty avenues, and nowhere I need to be. It's 3:17 a.m. and every mistake is a wake. It's 3:17 a.m. and every memory wants a place. The night keeps asking questions. I don't know how to explain. It's 3:17 a.m. and I'm losing to my brain. The refrigerator hums in the kitchen like it's trying to fill the silence. A passing siren cuts the darkness, then leaves it deeper than before. I thought loneliness was absence. I was wrong about that. Loneliness is a conversation that never knows when to stop. It's 3:17 a.m. and every mistake is a wake. It's 3:17 a.m. and every memory wants a place. The night keeps asking questions. I don't know how to explain. It's 3:17 a.m. and I'm losing to my brain. Daylight makes things manageable. Daylight gives them shape. But midnight turns small regrets into things you can't escape. The shadows become historians. The walls begin to speak. And every wound you've hidden starts looking for a lead. It's 3:17 a.m. The clock keeps moving on. It's 3:17 a.m. You love seeing your name in print, even when the story isn't kind. A scandal in the morning edition still proves you're on somebody's mind. You shake hands like a politician, smile wide for every flash, then spend the whole night buying drinks for people who forgot you last. Front page man, king for a day. Front page man till the headlines fade away. You chase attention like a gambler chases luck. Front page man, always one story from being stuck. You know every matron in town, every singer, every judge. You wear connections like cologne and call it earning people's love. But fame's a rented tuxedo, looks expensive, doesn't fit. And every room that cheers for you finds somebody else eventually. Front page man, day. Front page man till the headlines fade away. You chase attention like a gambler chases luck. Front page man, always one story from being stuck. The funny thing about a plot, it never follows you home. It stays behind with the chandeliers. The moment you're expires. Front page man, raise another toast. Front page man to the thing you fear the most. A room that's gone quiet, a crowd that's moved along. Front page man, wondering where all the attention's gone. Your key is still inside my drawer, wrapped in a receipt from June. I should have thrown it out by now, but I never found the nerve to. It's just a piece of metal, nothing sacred, nothing rare. Yet every time I I see it there, it feels like you're still somewhere. The apartment key opens nothing now. The apartment key, still I keep it somehow. No door remains, no light is on, but I can't convince my hands that you're really gone. You used to leave before I woke, coffee cooling by the sink, a note written on a paper napkin, quicker than I'd stop to think. Now the mornings have no witness, no lipstick on a cup, just sunlight moving through the kitchen, asking me to give you up. The apartment key opens nothing now. The apartment key, still I keep it somehow. No door remains, no light is on, but I can't convince my hands that you're really gone. People talk about forgiveness like it's some grand event, but forgetting is the harder part. It's where the real battle went, because memory doesn't leave in storms, it leaves inch by inch, holding on through little objects that your heart won't let relinquish. The apartment key, cold against my palm. The apartment key, still carrying your calm. Maybe one day I'll set it free, but tonight the last thing left of us is this apartment key. The waitress knows my order now, before I even take my seat. A corner booth, black coffee, and another night I couldn't sleep. The jukebox hasn't changed in years, it still skips on track 16, like it's trapped inside a memory, too stubborn to leave. 24 hours keeping the lights on for the lost. 24-hour cafe where every heart counts up the cost. The dreamers and the drifters, the broken and the brave, all find a little shelter in the 24-hour cafe. A trucker studies road maps like he's searching for a sign. A woman stares into her teacup, trying to leave a name behind. Nobody asks each other's business, that's the beauty of this place. We all arrive carrying storms and leave without a trace. 24-hour cafe, keeping the lights on for the lost. 24-hour cafe where every heart counts up the cost. The dreamers and the drifters, the broken and the brave, all find a little shelter in the 24-hour cafe. Outside the city sleeping, inside the clock stands still for a few borrowed hours. Nobody has to heal, nobody has to explain, nobody has to pretend. We just sit beside our loneliness until the night begins to end. 24-hour cafe, the sunrise starts to show. 24-hour cafe, and everybody slowly goes back to their unfinished lives, back to whatever waits. But for one more cup of coffee, we're all gonna be okay. You reached for your coat at midnight, Then the band began to play a slow one from another decade, and suddenly you chose to stay. The room was almost empty. The waiters stacking chairs, but neither one of us was ready to surrender to the stairs. One more song, that's all we said. One more song before we call it a night. One more song. But the record kept turning, and your eyes kept finding mine. The singer sounded half exhausted, the piano slightly out of tune, yet everything felt strangely perfect under that reluctant moon. You moved a little closer, like the music gave permission, and every note erased another inch of careful inhibition. One more song, that's all we said. One more song before we call it a night. One more song. But the record kept turning, and your eyes kept finding mine. Funny how desire bargains, always asking for a little more. One more minute, one more dance, one more reason not to reach the door. And suddenly the evening becomes something else entirely. Not because of what was spoken, but because of what was quietly. One more song turned into dawn. One more song, and all resistance was gone. The band packed up, the stars moved on, but somehow we remained inside that one